Hello, my fellow divine human beings, eternal in nature, the essence of divine soul. I'm guided to connect with you and meet you here today. It's the 21st of July, 2021, and 31 months ago today, my eternal beloved. Sometimes it's important to note that we don't recognize who we are in human form. We may know that we're something special, and I've had the opportunity to come to know just incredibly how special we are and we were. And it's absolutely true for all of us. And so 31 months through this cycle, and I do believe it is a cycle that has wrapped up, and gratefully so. I'm feeling a strong rising of the sacred divine feminine in her, I'm hearing, essential form. They keep saying essential form, and yet they are showing me essence, the soul's essence, who we each are, who we were each born. And we're at this really beautiful, it feels, I'm 50, I'll be 51 next month. Hard to believe. And so it feels like we're wrapping up smaller cycles within the larger cycle of our life to this point. And we're, again, I've said it before in some earlier videos from this week, we're coming up to our first of 2 Aquarian full moons. And the first is going to be in North America. It's going to be on the 23rd of July, and it will be on the 24th in the Southern Hemisphere. So the Northern and Southern Hemisphere. And interestingly enough, on the other side of that, on the 25th of July, and I'm no expert at this at all, barely a dabbler into the Mayan calendar and symbology. I do know the 25th is called the day at a time, and it is a galactic alignment. And so we have this every year. What is interesting about this year's particular day out of time, and I was receiving information, and like I said, I've only just been like a little bit of a dabbler. I know others who are far more along that evolutionary spiral with respect to the Mayan calendar and various soul print teachings is what I'm hearing, because there are many schools of training, if you will, and yet we are each here, for the most part, to attend our own school of mastery, and we are given all the tools and all the clues throughout our experience. And we are at this point with this first Aquarian full moon in the early degrees on the 23rd. We're given, and followed by the day out of time, followed by a 44-hour and 55-minute void moon. And this is really like a seed planting time. Because we are in the age of Aquarius, we're in the very early days of the age of Aquarius, which will be, a 2,000-year cycle of time. And so right now it's up to us to plant the seeds of this new age that is being born through our experience, that has been born, the elevation has been born through our resurrection, through our own shadow, our own pain, the trauma that oh my gosh, a cardinal just flew in. So beautiful. And spirit guides us. Cardinals for me are always loved ones in spirit. And, and I'm also with the color red, because this is a male cardinal here, with the color red. And I was mentioning that it's been 31 months since Frank transitioned, and if the mirror image of that is 13, right? And we are truly here to restore the sacredness to all living beings in all forms, and you know all forms of life communicate with us. We are all connected. And this little guy's just hopping along the fence. Here he goes. And I can hear another one. I can't see the other one, but I can hear maybe that's the female singing to the male. But it is this call that we have heard that has called us home, that has called us to this point, and it is an evolutionary turning point. And I really feel that during the next through this lunation, till completion with the full moon in Aquarius, the blue full moon in Aquarius on the 22nd of August, right now feels like a time of play, a reimagination, remembering, revitalizing through our connection to nature and the elements, the sun and the wind and the waters, all of that. Really enjoying this time, because as we get to that full moon in August and it's in the critical degrees, the late degrees of Aquarius. I don't know again exactly what degrees, somewhere 26 and beyond. The critical degrees are always tense and opportunities for change. And sometimes you have to feel, as we are in this beginning stages of the shift of ages, the outdated, what do I want to say, archaic, patriarchal energy that's days are done. they're already over. They're like grasping and grabbling and scrambling and wanting to hold on to their way of doing things. And it is this sacred divine feminine, I feel, who is rising and saying, no, that time is done. A time for unity, a time for healing, a time for remembering. Reunion has begun. So that's funny, because I didn't know that that would be why I was guided here today, because I actually felt that I was guided here. The question kept coming into my mind, is how well do we show up for ourselves on a daily basis? So that's my question to myself today. How well do I show up for myself on a daily basis? And these days I show up pretty well. I'm, some might say top of my game. Yet it's not a game, right? Yet we're here to have fun. And yet, remember, this 31, this 13, we are here as, it's almost like the tipping point, if you will. Remember, I used to love that when I was a kid. The I'm a Little Teapot. I'm not going to sing it, but yeah, I could do all the actions for you and everything. And it's like we are at the tipping point, and we are at this tipping point, and it's up to us to show up for ourselves so that we feel stabilized throughout this process. Because remember, like, those of you who have been guided to me for quite some time, thank you for still being here. Those of you who are new, welcome. We are here to support and uplift one another. And those of you who have been here for a while have very likely been doing your inner work. Because you see, this is this is the key ingredient for the shift of the ages, it is the individual doing the individual's work, which is that inner work, right? Which is the clearing away of the stuff that creates unsettling. And I had the beautiful opportunity to support my son through something yesterday, which was so empowering for him. As his mom, it was incredibly beautiful to witness. And as much as there was resistance on his part and, anxiety and fear around what I was strongly suggesting would support him showing up for himself, to support him taking responsibility for his healing process, because we're all in it, right? Children and adults alike, and some of us adults are adult children. So, if we can delight in the energetic support that we offer one another through heart-centered connections, it can be quite magical. And it was very magical to witness the transformation that took place last night when my son showed up for himself and, stood in his truth and spoke his truth and shared it and, did so in light of the fact that he was feeling incredibly anxious and nervous, and he was very upset with me for pretty much forcing it. I didn't impose my will on him. I held him accountable for something that has been long discussed and yet no action taken. I had had enough yesterday, and it was important for me to show up for myself by standing up for myself and communicating clearly with him so that he could show up for himself, and communicate clearly for himself. And on the other side of that, he felt much lighter. He was grateful, incredibly grateful, and it inspired a lot of other more of his heart to come through. So it was really beautiful. And so, how do you show up for yourself today? What have you, whatever day you're connecting with this, because messages from Source, Light, Divine, transcend all concepts of time, because that's a limitation of the human. It's a human convention, I'm hearing. And human convention and invention has really brought us to this tipping point, which is worldwide, right? It's not just a tipping point here in North America, although, come on, North Americans, it is really time that we took our blinders off, or rose-colored glasses, or whatever, and really took a deeper look inside, because when it comes to planetary evolution, when it comes to soul evolution, spiritual evolution, there are no sides. We are within a spiral through eons of time. And so we have lived through one of the most dense times on this planet for the last 2,000 years. Dense, war, all this division, which has brought us to this tipping point. And I have to be honest with you, although I was very, I could have predicted, and I did, say how all this was going once it started to unfold in 2020. I personally have to say I was a little alarmed and shocked at the level of compliance and obedience, and people who were willing to be brought to their knees, even so much so that they would justify the need to give up their right to breathe. Like, come on, what kind of a warped, inverted experience is that? It is through our breath that we are connected to all living beings. It is through our breath that spirit breathes into us, that source breathes into us. It is through our breath that we connect with others, through the waters of life, through the waters of our body, through the heavens, the night sky and the daytime sky that we all gaze upon, right? So here it's really about showing up for ourselves, not allowing ourselves to be brought to our knees by outside influences, really. We're at this tipping point where, we are being asked to stand in our strength and courage, to stand like our tree, show up for ourselves. After my video that I recorded yesterday, you'll find it, it's the one before this in the same playlist. Right after that video, and I had titled, I was saving it to upload to YouTube, I had titled Weathering Our Storms, and the thunder cracked, and I got so excited. I went and stood out under the blue spruce and recorded some of the storm, and I mean, it was torrential downpour. The only thing missing yesterday was, to see a rainbow in the sky, because it had all the ingredients were there. And yet it really felt like the rainbow was created from within, just at my ability to simply be, within the storm. And actually, it was quite delightful. It was quite delightful. And so how do we stand with ourselves and for ourselves during these storms, whether it's a collective storm or an individual, personal storm? So I think that's all I trust that something in here has supported you today. I trust there was a reason I was brought here today. Ah, yes. And this is it. This is really beautiful. So the angels are saying there is this collective proverbial dark night of the soul. Some of you may be in the midst of it. Some of you may just be entering this phase, and some of you may be on the other side of it. Gratefully, I have landed on the other side of the dark night of the soul. Truly, it's 1:44 now. And I'm grateful to be alive. And this really speaks about the opportunity that the dark night of the soul allows for healing and personal empowerment. This is truly a time, and the same for my son. And developmentally, he is within that solar plexus energy. He's 17, and so he is in there. This is the development. This is the personal power, right? Which is why I was so insistent that, no, this is going to be addressed today, because it's long overdue. And this, on the other side of this, you will feel good, is what I said to him. And I'm saying the same to you. It is true. You will feel good by breathing into all of the experience, and not from a place of non-judgment. Remember, this Aquarian new full moon, first of two. The second is the blue moon. This one is the opportunity. And right now you're already feeling it. It's Wednesday. We're feeling this push to get rid of stuff. Clear it out. Clear it out. Because as we get to Friday, as soon as that full moon, I'm feeling like as soon as it's reached its climax, its apex, we move right into this new energy. And this new energy coincides with the day out of time and this 44-hour and 55-minute void moon period where we are meant to be planting the seeds. I mean, we're already, we're clearing away so that we're beginning to welcome the harvest, reap the rewards of the harvest of all the seeds we've already planted and nurtured, which brought us to today. And now going forward, we are planting the new seeds that carry us forward through the remainder of this year into 2022 and beyond. Elevation, right? We're here to rise. Stop judging yourself, because in the eyes of the divine, you are perfectly divine. You are perfectly, imperfectly human. Imperfectly perfect human. Take responsibility, especially when you're afraid, to stand up for yourself. It is the absolute best thing you can do for yourself. Show up for yourself each and every day, even if that simply means is like you show up and you're like I just need to go back to bed and call it, that's a worthy day too. And those days often um, support propelled forward movement, rapid forward movement. So trust your process. Show up for yourself today. Drink some water. Get to nature. And delight in the beauty that you see all around you, because truly it is a reflection of you. I see you. I feel you. I love you. Thank you for connecting here. Whenever you do, please like, comment, and subscribe. It is a pleasure and it's a true honor to connect with you through the heart space in this lifetime. I see you. I feel you. I love you. Thank you.